Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We ask that you take your seats and clear the aisles. The ceremony is about to begin. We'd like to congratulate all the families that are here today to celebrate with our students.
Please be seated. Board of Trustees Chair Cynthia Archer, Associate Professor of Theater and Director of the Theater Program, Catherine Slusar, other members of the faculty, deans, members of the staff, graduating students, families, and friends. Welcome to the college's 139th commencement. We begin today's commencement ceremony with an acknowledgement that we stand on Lenape land and pay respect and honor to the caretakers of this land from time immemorial until now and into the future. In the Quaker tradition that informs this institution, I ask you to join me in a moment of silence. I invite you to remember with gratitude the people you love and the people who have loved you, those here today and those who cannot be with you in person. Remember also those who cannot pursue an education because of war, oppression, violence, or the loss of home or nation. At this time, I also ask that you hold in your hearts the children, spouse, family, and friends of our late faculty colleague, Laura Graff, from the Department of Psychology. Laura was a brilliant scholar, a dynamic teacher, and a dedicated mentor. Her recent and untimely passing is deeply felt in the Bryn Mawr and Haverford communities. Thank you. I now invite Sharon J. Neiter Bergenmeyer, the W. Alton Jones Professor of Chemistry, to give the opening reading for today's commencement ceremony.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I have selected the poem Retreating Light by Louise Gluck, who was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2020. This poem is from her collection entitled The Wild Iris, for which she received the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry in 1993. The Wild Iris is effectively a conversation between three speakers: the flowers in the garden, the poet, gardener, and an omniscient god of the garden. As the speakers contemplate life, individuality, pain, beauty, death, and what it means to live, die, and be reborn. You were always very young children, always waiting for a story. I'd been through it all too many times. I was tired of telling stories, so I gave you the pencil and paper. I gave you pens made of reeds I had gathered myself afternoons in the dense meadows. I told you, write your own story. After all those years of listening, I thought you'd know what a story was. All you could do was weep. You wanted everything told to you and nothing thought through yourselves. Then I realized you couldn't think with any boldness or passion. You hadn't had your own lives yet, your own tragedies. So I gave you lives, I gave you tragedies, because apparently tools alone weren't enough. You will never know how deeply it pleases me to see you sitting there like independent beings, to see you dreaming by the open windows, holding the pencils I gave you, until the summer morning disappears into writing. Creation has brought you great excitement, as I knew it would, as it does in the beginning. And I am free to do as I please now, to attend to other things. In confidence, you have no need of me anymore.
Thank you, Sharon. We salute you, all 93 graduate students earning your degrees this academic year, including 2 who completed their requirements earlier in the year. You have met and mastered the challenges of your degree programs, and I know that your families and friends join me in feeling immense pride in your accomplishments. We will now hear from students speaking on behalf of the Graduate School of Social Work and Social Research, Kaya Johnson, who today receives her Master of Social Service degree. She will be followed by Mandy Kriziak, Jenny Glazer, who will receive her PhD in Greek, Latin, and Classical Studies today, will represent the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. Kaya, will you come forward?
Wow, good evening. So, you all look so beautiful. Congratulations. Let me just start there. Yes, we did it. It's over. We did it. We did it. I would like to know, does anybody remember the first time they heard of the job social worker or the profession social work? Because I do. For me, it was like, nobody in the 3rd grade class that I was in wanted to be a social worker. They all said lawyer, doctor, artist, singer, right? I didn't know what a social worker was myself until I had one. When I was 12 years old, my family was assigned a caseworker, a DHS person, and she would come into the house where my grandmother raised my siblings and I, Mrs. Shirley Louise Butler. And she would come into the house, ask us questions, but we didn't really interact or connect with her. It almost felt like a waste of time. I didn't know what she was doing or what the point was, because I was young. But I knew that I could do a better job. I knew that I could do it. I knew that I could do that better. The world is a little scary right now. I think we can all agree there. But we're going to do things that is going to bring it back to, or bring it up and back to where we think it should be and where it can be, so that everybody feels included and supported in our society. I think that unshakable hope is how we do that. We can fight it. Some would call those who came before us delusional, naive, or even insane. But we can do this thing. It was hope that made us all apply for our various concentrations of study here at Bryn Mawr, and hope that will continue to fuel the passions that we have for the work that we're going to carry out. So I just say congratulations once again. We did it. I'm personally wishing unshakable hope and perpetual healing for each and every one of you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, President, Dean Shapiro, faculty, family, friends, and the wildly overcaffeinated, theory-saturated, burnout-resistant Master of Social Service class of 2025. Let me start with a confession. I thought completing this degree would feel like galloping into the sunset on a well-trained horse. Picture it, a cinematic moment, perfect lighting, triumphant music, swelling as we rode into the future. But instead, it felt more like getting on a half-broke mare named Systems Theory, who promptly threw me into the mud multiple times. There were days when I thought I had it all figured out. Maslow, Erickson, attachment theory. I was ready to practice. And then life said, cool, and threw in a surprise medical diagnosis. Suddenly, I wasn't just studying trauma, I was living it. I wasn't just reading about systemic barriers, I was up against them. I wasn't just talking about dignity and worth, I had to fight for my own. But still, I showed up, sometimes in pain, often exhausted, always determined. I kept riding. Because social work doesn't require flawless riders, it requires committed ones. It asks us not to perform certainty, but to practice courage, to be willing to fall and to get back up with intention. This field demands more than intellectual rigor, it demands emotional stamina. That we name the power dynamics in the room, even when we're the quietest voices in it. To see non-compliance not as defiance, but as wisdom born from surviving unjust systems. We study the architecture of failure, how racism, ableism, transphobia, and fatphobia are built into policy and practice, and how to intervene at the points where people get lost in those tracks. We've practiced person and environment, biopsychosocial assessments, and the subtle art of writing notes that say, client explored feelings instead of client screamed into a pillow while I nodded supportively. And through it all, we held on to something bigger than theory, values. We believed in the inherent dignity and worth of every person, even when they couldn't see it themselves. We honored the centrality of human relationships, not only as a treatment tool, but as the very foundation of change. We pursued social justice, not as a checkbox, but as a call to dismantle what harms and imagine what could be and what could heal. And we practiced the radical, unyielding idea that healing is still possible, even within institutions built to exclude, punish, or forget. We pursued social justice not as a buzzword too, but as a responsibility. I've fallen off the horse more times than I can count, academically, physically, existentially, but every single time someone from the program reached out a hand, gave me a leg up, or reminded me, you've got this, you belong here. And now I want to say that to all of you. You belong here. Not because you made it through without bruises or a fall or two from the horse a few times, but because you kept riding when it counted most. To my fellow graduates, may we never forget our power in simply being there for someone. We should value connection over control, presence over perfection, and people over process. Thank you to the Graduate School of Social Work and Social Research of Bryn Mawr College. You have shown me compassion and understanding that I will carry with me always. Thank you to my mom and dad for supporting my dreams and aspirations, and your dedication to my education has made all the difference. So as we ride out into a world that desperately needs us, into broken systems, burnout questions, and unmet needs, let me leave you with this. When you get thrown, because you will, don't ask yourself, why did I fall? Ask yourself, who am I going to be now that I've gotten back up? Because that evolution, that tenacity, that return to purpose is the essence of social work. And if all else fails, ride boldly into supervision. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2025.
Hello. First and foremost, I want to thank Bryn Mawr College and the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences and our Dean, May, and our President, Wendy, for this beautiful graduation ceremony, and to all of you for coming. Once upon a time, there was a scholar who, struggling to make ends meet, sold off his library. Afterward, he wrote a letter to his father saying, "Be happy for me, Dad. I'm already living off my books." The joke I just told you comes from a compilation of jokes about scholars written in ancient Greek more than 1,000 years ago. We can be proud to know we are part of such a long and storied tradition of higher learning. You see, when I came to Bryn Mawr, I thought I'd write a dissertation on an important thinker, like Plato or Augustine. Instead, I've spent the last several years studying old jokes. Ancient comedy. Let me tell you another one, not quite as funny, but one I think speaks to who academics really are. There was once a scholar contemplating the moon at night. Turning, he asked his father, "Do you think that all the other cities have moons like we do?" While it seems silly at first, this ancient scholar shows imagination and empathy. He longs to know about the world outside his own experience. This is what makes us scholars, a spirit of inquiry and the tenacity to find the answers to our questions. Here at Bryn Mawr, we have been encouraged to pursue knowledge and view the world with curiosity. Students are graduating here today who have spent their time exploring the mysteries of the stars, intricacies of number theory, ancient amulets and seals, archaeobotany, French and Italian, and more. The close-knit environment of a small liberal arts college has given us a unique kind of graduate education, unparalleled, where, like they say in the show Cheers, everybody knows your name. I know I speak for all the graduates when I say that we are thankful for our fellow travelers, graduate and undergraduate alike, who have offered open ears and minds as we strive to know more about the world together. Finally, I am so grateful, as I know all the graduates are, for the mentorship and guidance of our professors, and for me especially, my two dissertation directors, Radcliffe Edmonds and Ralph Rosen. Thank you to all our families and friends for coming and showing your support in this journey. As one of my mentors recently put it, this is just the beginning of a process of intellectual evolution that will last a lifetime. It's a journey that never gets old, and what could be better than that? Thank you.
We continue by awarding a few special prizes to graduates and faculty. First, I invite Dean of the Graduate School of Social Work and Social Research, Janet Shapiro, and Dean of Graduate Studies, Mei Cheng, to come to the podium and each present student awards.
Thank you, Wendy. The Mary Patterson McPherson Awards were established in 1998 in honor of President Emeritus McPherson. The McPherson Awards recognize excellence and community service among constituencies of the college. The Mary Patterson McPherson Award for a student in the Graduate School of Social Work and Social Research this year goes to Riz Carthens. I invite Riz to the platform to accept the award. It is also my honor to present the Kevin J. Robinson Award, which is awarded to a student of the Graduate School of Social Work and Social Research in recognition of their extraordinary commitment to social justice. This year's recipient is Serena Rose Gaskin. I invite Serena to the platform to accept the award.
Okay. Thank you, Janet. This year's Mary Patterson McPherson Award for students in the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences goes to 3 students: Hilda Nelson, Yusi Liu, and Danina Wayne. I invite them to come up to the platform to accept their awards.
Thank you to all of you. It's now my honor to introduce our 2025 Graduate Commencement speaker. Our speaker is a renowned researcher, scholar, and entrepreneur whose groundbreaking and much acclaimed work has advanced such varied fields as cancer therapy and clean energy. She studies light nanoparticle interactions with applications ranging from biomedicine and optoelectronics to chemical sensing and light-driven green chemistry. She was the first person to design the optical properties of metal nanoparticles by chemically controlling their structure. After receiving her undergraduate degree in chemistry from LaSalle University and her PhD in physics from none other than Bryn Mawr College, she went on to a distinguished career encompassing more than 400 refereed publications, more than 30 issued patents, and more than 650 invited presentations. She is a member of the National Academy of Sciences, the National Academy of Engineering, the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, the Royal Danish Academy of Sciences and Letters, and the UK's Royal Society of Chemistry. I had the distinct honor to be in the audience recently when she received the 2025 Franklin Medal in Chemistry, awarded by Philadelphia's Franklin Institute. She exemplifies the sustained study, rigorous scholarship, and commitment to discovery for which our graduate programs are known. Please join me in extending a warm welcome and welcome back to University Professor and Stanley C. Mawr Professor of Electrical and Chemical Engineering at Rice University, Naomi J. Hallis.
Thank you very much. First, let me thank you, President Cage, and the Speaker Selection Committee for the opportunity to speak to the graduate class of 2025 today. I am deeply honored by this invitation, and I am so very excited for you. Congratulations to the graduate class of 2025, and welcome to the universe of scholars. May we have a round of applause for the... And I also want to thank your parents, your partners, your friends, your families, even your children who are here with you today, who have been with you and rooting for you throughout your Bryn Mawr journey. Can I ask you to give them a well-deserved round of applause? And last but not least in any way, we should thank the faculty and staff of Bryn Mawr. They are the mechanism behind the transformative experience of getting your graduate degree here. And if I can speak for the faculty, regardless of how happy you might be today, the people who are the happiest are the people sitting on the dais behind me to see the end of the academic year. So seriously, please give them a well-deserved round of applause. So you're receiving your graduate degrees today, And as a proud Bryn Mawr PhD myself, let me congratulate you for finishing and successfully defending your thesis, whether master's or PhD. The road to this day has been a long one, a tiring one for many of you, and a road with sacrifices. When I think about the graduate school experience, I think about the pioneer Kit Carson and what he said about the Santa Fe Trail. The cowards never start, and the weak die along the way. The graduate degree, as you know, is the most transformative experience in higher education, bar none. You start as a bachelor student who can answer any question posed to you, and then you end up now being the one who asks the questions. You start by learning the work of others, and as a master's and PhD, you stare into the abyss of the unknown. There are many people who find that path too scary and too intimidating, but not you. You have mastered how to stand at the interface between the well-known and the unknown, and how to shine light into that darkness. And now for the next steps in your life. I have a wish for all of you. My sincerest wish for all of you is that you have failures. Sorry to say that on a day of celebration, but it's true. Henry Ford said, "Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently." Let me say that again, because it's worth repeating. Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Behind some of the greatest success stories in history were some amazing failures. One example that comes to mind is the Beatles. This is a rock band. If you've not heard of them, they're the rock band that your grandparents used to listen to. And they actually went, they thought they were the best. They would be a transformative Motown group. So they actually, on their first trip to the States, they went to Detroit to audition for Decca Records in Motown. They did not get an offer. And they were flabbergasted. They were really heartbroken. But that failure spurred them on to become much more original, not a Motown group, but much, much more original, and even to this day, they are influencing popular music. So it is truly amazing that when we look at some huge success stories, we find one person's failures. Well, that's what happened of one group. But we also find the situation where the failure in one person's eyes is, if taken to another person, can become even more amazing and successful than they ever thought it would. And my example for today is Post-it notes. So once upon a time at 3M Research in the Twin Cities, there was a glue chemist. 3M, as you know, makes a lot of sticky things, right, like Scotch tape, which, by the way, is an ethnic slur, so we won't go there. But this glue chemist, as you know, glue is so important. Glue is sometimes has to get hard, and sometimes it's harder and tougher than the materials that you're using to glue together. So it's a really important thing for an adhesive to adhere and to harden and to stick. Except this guy's glue never got hard, ever. And it drove him crazy. And after several weeks of failure in the lab, he was so dejected, he said, "I've got to get out of here. Let me go see if there's some seminar I can go to just to get this off my mind." And 3M is a big place. It's almost like a university. There's campus. It's a campus with different buildings. He was a glue chemist. He's in the glue building. So we found out there's a seminar next door in the paper building. So maybe I'll go over there. I'll go hear this talk and get this off my mind. And so he goes over, he gets in line before the seminar to get his coffee and cookies. And the guy, he didn't know the guy in front of him, said, "Well, how's it going?" He starts telling about this, "My glue, it never hardens. It always just stays sticky." And the guy looked at him and he said, "Do you mean to tell me that I could take your glue and put it on a piece of paper and I could maybe use it as a bookmark and it wouldn't fall out when I open the book? And then maybe a week later I could move it to another page and it wouldn't fall out there either, and I could keep moving it and using it and using it?" He goes, "Yeah, that would work." And it turns out that this guy who asked him these questions was the organist in his church. Minnesota is, after all, the land of Lutherans. And he was, every Sunday morning, he'd go to the organ and he'd open up the hymnal and down would go the bookmarks. and he would lose them, and he'd be shuffling like crazy trying to get the bookmarks. So this solved a huge, huge problem for him. And of course, the combination then, the right idea, right, the right problem to solve was something that really was able to get, actually, Post-it notes are the most profitable product of 3M ever. They made more money than anything else that 3M makes. And nobody would have thought about this before, because nobody ever put that specific failure into a completely new context. So there's two morals to this story. First moral is about failure and turning failure into a success. And this is something that's expected of you as a graduate with a graduate degree, master's or PhD, seeing one person's lemon as another person's lemonade. And the other is how it happens. It happens through connections. Connecting with people you wouldn't necessarily connect with. In a post-COVID world, we have all largely lost the ability to connect with others. You folks are on your phones right now, whoever's on your phones right now, you might disagree. There's one right there. Good timing, thank you. But our phones are not really connecting us with each other the way a one-on-one, eye-to-eye, random conversations can truly, truly make connections. So earlier this spring, I was visiting Berkeley to give a talk, and my Uber driver took me into Berkeley late at night, and he said, you know, this city has changed. This town has changed completely through COVID. It used to be I could drive in at midnight and I would see students here and they'd be laughing and drinking and talking and eating with each other and all sorts of conversations going on. And now it's just dark. It doesn't happen anymore. So there is something that has missed, and you have lived through COVID as part of your education. So it's something that, you know, we actually know this, that we have a national epidemic of isolation, you know, largely enhanced by COVID. COVID has only made it worse. And also, as you leave campus today, maybe leave campus forever, you will probably feel more isolated leaving campus than you have as you have been and as you have been here. So we all need to learn and to relearn how to connect. You need to connect. All of us at every stage of our lives need to learn how to connect better with each other. That means turn off cell phone and look around you. You may today actually meet someone you have never met before here at Bryn Mawr. I'll tell you one connection about Bryn Mawr that changed my life. I was actually a graduate student at Cornell, and I came back to Philly, walking across the Bryn Mawr campus just to buy a physics book at the bookstore, and I ran into the chairman of the physics department, Neil Abraham. We had a 5-minute conversation, and after 5 minutes, I decided I would transfer to Bryn Mawr as a graduate student, and that led me to an internship at IBM Research and to a very unusual relationship. It wasn't defined by anything, but Neil Abraham made it happen, and the flexibility of Bryn Mawr made this happen, so I could do my research at IBM. And my career took off after that, but without that chance encounter, my life and career may have been, in fact, very, very different. It led to a postdoc at Bell Labs and a professorship at Rice. With now, I've just had my 75th PhD student graduate and defend their thesis. So, they were all great. They were all great. But what does it mean to connect? It means to reach out, yes, but it also means to listen. And to listen to people and opinions you may not be comfortable hearing. Which brings me to the 800-pound gorilla in the room, politics. We have let politics divide us like never before in this country. And some say that our current political divide is worse than in the days of the Civil War. But one thing is true about politics, and if you're around long enough, you'll see this. Politics is like a pendulum. It moves slowly, moves back and forth, and it moves from position to position, from party to party, and for different people and so on. And over time, you will see that it will move. So like it or not, you will experience this. So in the words of one of the great sages of our time, Michelle Obama, she said, if you are a Republican, listen to a Democrat. If you are a Democrat, listen to a Republican. And she meant listen. Listen does not mean to wait quietly while the other person talks until they finish and then continue to say what you were saying before they interrupted you. That's not listening. That's actually something my mother-in-law does. But don't do that. You are moving into a new post-COVID world, which has largely lost the ability to connect and listen, and also to find common ground. So how can we solve that problem? We can do it. I have a very unusual hypothesis for you. We can do it by learning from machines. Yes, machines. It might be a little ridiculous for me to say that here in the bastion of the humanities, but we need to learn a thing or two about thinking machines. We need to learn to think the way we've taught them to think. I'll tell you what I mean about this. So we have trained machines to do something that we actually don't do very well ourselves, to look for similarities, to look for patterns in a sea of data. Right? As humans, we often actually look for distinctions. We look for differences, maybe subtle ones between one thing or another, to distinguish them, and then maybe to write a paper or a whole thesis about how one thing is distinct from another. It's how actually we search for originality and how we search for individuality. But machines have been trained to look for similarities. In an ocean of faces, they can identify one person from millions of others. Right? And they can identify trends, for example, in diseases of different parts of the body that no one person, not even a whole medical research team, could figure out how to compare that disease to this other disease and the trends and the patterns of similarity within those. So now that we've taught machines how to do this, perhaps it's our turn to learn from them. Not to look at the differences between us, but to look for common ground, to look for common opinions, even when you don't expect to find them. One-on-one, not as groups, but one-on-one. You may never know in life who you may learn things from, or who may provide you with that new perspective, the paper for the sticky glue, or the door that opens when another door closes. People you know and people you could meet at any time, who you do not know yet. Those are the ones who can do that. So why don't we fight back against this culture of isolation, one new acquaintance at a time. Build your network and expand your boundaries. Get out of your comfort zone, all of us, get out of our comfort zone as you leave campus and enter the world and enter the universe of scholars. Who knows what amazing things might happen? And as we listen to these fabulous bagpipes, that was just extraordinary for the last time, I also need to tell you that my preferred theme song for graduate commencements was actually written and sung by Freddie Mercury. And since I can't sing like Freddie Mercury, I'm not even going to try. I will have instead a dramatic reading. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, because we are the champions of the world. So congratulations, champions. Let's get out there and make your own Post-it notes.
Naomi, thank you. From the moment I met you just a few weeks ago, I understood even more deeply what makes Bryn Mawr a distinctly powerful model for graduate education. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today as we celebrate the completion of your degrees and all you have accomplished during your time at the college. You are uniquely prepared for this moment at a time when knowledge, discovery, and truth are under threat. You have modeled deep focused and sustained study at the highest levels. At a time when specialization and expertise are being viewed with suspicion, you have poured yourself into rigorous, engaged learning and scholarship. At a time when communities around the world are in desperate need of help and healing, you have committed to linking theory and practice, bringing evidence-based practices and deep compassion to all that you do. As you leave this place, know in your heart how much you are needed in the world as scholars, researchers, teachers, practitioners, thinkers, and citizens. You've been educated at the highest levels and prepared to do the greatest good. Bring with you the resilience that graduate study has required of you. Bring with you the friendships and mentorships you have forged here. They are yours for life. And remember always that Bryn Mawr is your home. Thank you and congratulations. And let us now move on to the principal activity for today, the conferring of degrees.
Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy please rise? Madam President, the faculty of Bryn Mawr College joins with me in presenting two students, graduates of this or other colleges who have continued their studies at Bryn Mawr and have completed the work which qualifies them for a higher degree. We ask that the degree of Doctor of Philosophy be conferred on them.
By the authority of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, granted to the trustees of Bryn Mawr College and given by them to me for my first time, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, and in so doing, admit you to membership in the ancient and universal company of scholars.
On behalf of the Department of Greek, Latin, and Classical Studies, I have the honor to present Jenny Litvak Glazer, who has completed the work for the doctorate in Greek, Latin, and Classical Studies.
Madam President, on behalf of the Department of Physics, I have the honor to present Olivia Nicole McCulley, who has completed the work for the doctorate in physics.
Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts please rise? Madam President, on behalf of the faculty of Bryn Mawr College, I present 17 students, including 2 who will take their degrees in absentia, graduates of this or other colleges who have continued their studies at Bryn Mawr and have completed courses which qualify them for a higher degree, and I ask that they be given the degree of Master of Arts.
By the authority of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, granted to the trustees of Bryn Mawr College and by them to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts and admit you to all its rights, dignities, privileges, and responsibilities.
In classical and Near Eastern archaeology, Caroline Elizabeth Pope. Bing Shen Yu. In French, Evangeline Love Welch. In history of art, Annalise Carmen Ashman. Jocelyn Garcia. Maggie North. Danielle Marie Pigeon. Charlotte Taylor. Yuzu Wang. In mathematics, Kavin Abigail Helmering. Elizabeth June Liu. In physics, Eva Caterina Carmona Rogina. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Social Service please rise? Madam President, on behalf of the faculty of Bryn Mawr College, I present 76 students, including 2 who will take their degrees in absentia, graduates of this or other colleges who have continued their studies at Bryn Mawr and have completed courses which qualify them for a higher degree. And I ask that they be given the degree of Master of Social Service.
By the authority of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, granted to the trustees of Bryn Mawr College and by them to me, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Social Service and admit you to all its rights, dignities, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations.
Shakira Abdul Malik. Gabriel Meadows Adels. Madison Rose Albanese. Lily Tobin Alexander. Juliana Barbario. Hannah Barron Bennett. Alex Harper Burnt. Daria Brandt Moses. Elizabeth Anastasia Broom. Brianna Michelle Brown. Hannah Leigh Carney. Latifa Salima Chin. Deborah Fitzgerald Carell. J. Hulbert Dalkey. Nicole Alice Daly. Melissa N. DiGiulio. Eliza Eastman Jepson. Chelsea Everest Isle. Mark Philippone. Alexis Jade Flores. Audrian Graham Flory. Michael Flynn. Jonathan Frankenberg. Serena Rose Ayana Gaskin. Allison R. Gibbons. Catherine Alexi Green. Amanda Grolig. Emma S. Grooms. Romelia Guerrero. Veronique Natalie Hooper. Tess Solomon Huddleston. Melissa Hunsicker. Shazia Iftikhar. Kaya Shirley Johnson. Grace L. Kennedy. Amanda Marie Krisiak. Meryl Joan Lammers. Alexandria D. Lampert. Erin Kunho Lee. Abigail C. Lowe. Caroline May Liu. Blake Macco. Brett McDevitt. Sierra Antoinette McFadden. Delaney Diane Mitchell. Adriana Lexi Morales. Willis Durgan Moyer III. Misrach Nagash. Alyssa Jane Noonan. Lydia Ann Oliver. Ayana Pendergrass. Samantha Phillips. Yasmin Rayana Rice. Isabella Sturley Robinson Clutie. Devora Mady Shiner. Savannah Shiflett. Sarah Catherine Sidoti. Eliana Sigelman. Laura Smith. Samantha Lauren Spurt. Sadie Ruth Sprague Lote. Shelby Lynn Statham. Samantha Sternberg. Abigail Marie Stewart. Jordan Talasnik. Victoria Josephine Valadow Napier. Alan Vayner. Emily Taylor White. Sierra Williams. Nicole Dion Williams Horton. Benjamin David Stockser Wilson.
My warmest congratulations to all of you. Naomi said this, and I'm going to say it again, or invite all the graduates to stand and face their families and friends and give them a round of applause. It is now my pleasure to welcome Chair of the Board of Trustees, Cynthia Archer, Bryn Mawr College class of 1975, to the podium.
Graduates, friends, and families, on behalf of the college's Board of Trustees, I echo Wendy's congratulations and best wishes, and want to share with you that one of the most beautiful moments in the year of the board is when we receive the faculty's recommendation to approve the awarding of degrees to all of you who are sitting here today. And I bring you warm congratulations from every one of the 30 members of the Bryn Mawr Board of Trustees. And to honor your commencement, I'd like to read a poem by Ada Limon. She's the U.S. Poet Laureate from July 2022 through April of 25. She was appointed by Carla Hayden, who served as a Librarian of Congress from October 2016 until last week. The poem is called Instructions on Not Giving Up, and it was written in 2017. I think Ada Limon's own words preface it best. It was a hard winter. My whole body raged against it. But right as the whole world feels uninhabitable, something miraculous happens. The trees come back. I wanted to praise that ordinary thing as a way of bringing myself back too. So here, again in Ada Limon's words, instructions on not giving up. More than the fuchsia funnels breaking out of the crabapple tree, more than the neighbor's almost obscene display of cherry limbs shoving their cotton candy-colored blossoms to the slate sky of spring rains. It's the greening of the trees that really gets to me. When all the shock of white and taffy, the world's baubles and trinkets, leave the pavement strewn with the confetti of aftermath, the leaves come, patient, plodding, a green skin growing over whatever winter did to us. A return to the strange idea of continuous living, despite the mess of us, the hurt, the empty. Fine then, I'll take it, the tree seems to say. A new slick leaf, unfurling like a fist to an open palm. I'll take it all. Congratulations to each and all of you in this Bryn Mawr class of 25. We wish you delight in your work and great joy in your lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. I want to take just a moment as we close to thank Grand Marshal Joel Schlosser, Associate Professor and Chair of Political Science, and the faculty, staff, and student marshals for guiding us through our ceremony today. Thank you also to our musicians, to Director of Conference and Events Lisa Zernicki and her colleagues, and to all members of the Bryn Mawr staff. housekeeping, dining services, facilities, transportation, campus safety, multimedia services, the president's office, all of our staff ushers, and many others who work so hard and so well today and all days to prepare the college for all that we do. After the recessional, please join us for a celebratory reception for all graduate students on the lawn and terrace behind Wyndham Alumni House. I ask that guests remain in their place until those on the stage, the faculty, and the graduates have recessed. And with that, the 2025 graduate commencement exercises of Bryn Mawr College are now officially closed.